And hello, welcome back. So I'm the normal player guy, and you are lovely little crumpets. So we all know by now what the new 2024 units are going to be on New Year's Day. So it's going to have a new Super Saiyan 3 and a new Hirudegarn or Tapion. Now the picture is Hirudegarn, which could be interesting because it could be like the first ever standalone Hirudegarn, but it's likely like a Tapion kind of transformation deal, right? So we're going to have a quick look between what we can expect, possibly what's going to easy A, and then a little comparison between how are they going to fare against those that are the same unit. I mean, it's difficult, but also at the same time kind of easy. Difficult because there's not a lot of options, but that's also the easy bit. There isn't a lot of options, so this brand spanking shiny new unit that drops 2024 is probably going to be the cream of the crop. We go back to like Super Saiyan 3. In particular, this is probably one of the better ones going, especially considering he'll most likely have his EZA on that particular celebration. And it's got to be, right? He's got to be perhaps more hype than the upcoming unit. Now we have a look at Super Saiyan 3 Goku. There is some good and some bad when it comes to stuff like this guy transforms and he's pretty powerful. Pretty much built around for crits. Then we got like transforming Goku, but that doesn't really count because he's in it for like a turn. You have this guy who can transform. Now, if he had his easy A, then understandably, this is a Boo Saga one, so he's not going to have this easy A anytime soon. Sorry. So, yeah, he can be good pending if you get the right amount of orbs. So that's interesting. This guy. So, of course, yeah, this guy, we got his potential EZA here. He came out in 2018. Wow. Okay, so he's going to be about, 6 years old? So definitely, possibly going to have his EZA. What's it going to be? Well, I can guarantee you something right now, and that is this here. This will remain a thing. So that's just you have to live with that. You're gonna have it'll probably go down to like 30-40%, I presume, right, on ultra super attack, and then I imagine your ultra super attack's going to be like massively raise attack, or or maybe like greatly raise. I don't know. It might be something to do with like massively raise attack whilst you're losing like 50% of your defense. But sure, I could see 12 key being something like medium chance to stone greatly raise stats. That could be interesting. Could be various amounts of building up. Key mechanics could be pretty important for this guy because he can struggle depending on the team because he doesn't so much have key links in this. I mean, he's got Over in the Flash, which is really good, but that's strictly only Super Saiyan 3, and the rest are just attack links. Oh, he does have Shattering the Limit, so that can help out. But Over in the Flash is good on his certain teams, and you can possibly get some good use out of Shattering the Limit. But he has nothing built into it. It'd be nice to see that. This could be a pretty good battlefield kind of deal. We know this is going to be about 120, 130, and this will go up to like a straight 100%. So we can kind of get an idea from this. Obviously, as I said, the most hype unit going. What else do we have on this? In terms of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, well, he has his EZA, I'm pretty sure. This guy does, but again, he's from the Boo Saga. He's free to play. Could he have his EZA? Maybe. But again, I believe it's designed around the Boo Saga. There's actually been quite a lot of buffs to the Super Saiyan 3. And we're just talking like heroes, and we're talking like this guy's had his one, Bardock's, not too far away from having his, right? These two heroes units are pretty respectable. So, yes, is there anyone else on this? Just those. Fair enough. He probably is from the Tapion saga. It's hard to say. He just has the Dragon Fist. I mean, when he first came out, yeah, sure, his EZA was pretty solid. But now, in terms of a Super Saiyan 3, he probably is going to be the best standalone Super Saiyan 3, right? It just is. There isn't a lot here to work with, so that could be pretty good. I mean, his contenders are, I mean, possibly these two, right? Not really him, and it all depends what this guy does. So we have something useful there. Now, of course, when we have Tapion, well, that's going to be a bit interesting because there's only these few. Now, this guy's free to play. If you want to use him as a means to grind him up, then yes. The drop rates are pretty terrible, but you got these. We'll start off with this guy. So giant form is pretty much a must. There is another one. We got Piccolo now. This Int Piccolo from the World Tournament Saga. He is going to be the better one. But this guy is really good because, like, after his EZA, he is defensively well put, and he can also hold himself in various. You managed to get his you managed to get some of this, which can apply lower attack and defense. The fact that he automatically reduces damage, the fact that he has this as well, he's actually not bad. Actually, he's pretty good. Talking in, we have 12,000 defense, even at 55% for an EZA unit. Actually, is fairly respectable for a lot of units that have come out already. So the guy's pretty good. Now, he's also the only other Hirudegarn based one that we have. This guy, I mean, yeah, okay, it's, yeah, fine, he's invincible, right? Even if you actually do get hit, you're invincible. I mean, he has good amount of attack. He still struggles with ki. That's the only problem. So it'd be nice to see if you have a Hirudegarn. We have someone who doesn't strictly require 6 orbs, because that is a little bit off a little bit of annoying factor. But still, yes. So this is the only other known Hirudegarn. We do have an LR, and the LR leads to storied figures, which is interesting. Will they have an EZA on this? Well, let's have a look. Came out in 2021. Possibly a little early, personally. Touching on 3 years is relevant, but it might be a bit fast for them to EZA this unit. Mind you, if they did, it might make them more relevant because this unit's dead. Like having another Tapion would probably help flush this guy out. This unit can be respected, right? I mean, don't they reduce damage received by the amount of super attacks performed? They do have additionals, but it's only on after you jump a whole bunch of loopholes. But that's really about it, and that's really the most of their defense as well, because they have it at the start of term, and that's period it, and then of course they have this. But I mean, even their super attacks. I mean, they lower attack and defense, but you don't get anything from it. So it's not the best design unit, and in terms of like who they link with, it's just other Tapions. I don't really. I think the only reason is because of like experienced fighters and cold judgments. The only reason why we're seeing other people on this, the only reason we're seeing this guy is okay. We're getting Brainiacs and solid support, but that's because it's joint forces. But we get this, and we're getting cold judgment and Brainiacs. And then what's the reason why we have these guys? Solid support experienced fighters. Right, okay, so that's the only reason. They have some bizarre links thrown in here. Storied figures and legendary existence could have a bit of a buff. But yeah. And then, of course, we do have this one. He will most likely have his EZA. He's the only one outside of this LR that doesn't. So that will be a factor, right? So yes, he could work well with a whole bunch. Of course, we have the other Tapions. He's gonna have the new Hirudegarn. Surprisingly, works well with a bunch of people on here who have had EZAs and are actually pretty decent altogether. Like these ones are pretty respectable. These three are pretty respectable, right? Bulmer and these three here are pretty respectable. So now they do a fairly decent job. What are we talking about? We're talking legendary existence, storied figures. We're talking time travelers, movie heroes, resurrected warriors. That's not too bad. I mean, what are we talking with this? Movie heroes with Piccolo. What are we talking with him? We're talking resurrected and sibling bonds, super tech. What are we talking with Pycon? We're talking storied figures. So potentially it could be a pretty decent unit. I can imagine probably something to do with support, maybe. Hard to say. We've got a chance ability here. We've got a chance to crit here. That can mean he could be somewhat offensive. He could be the first sub EZA of 2024. That could be good. So that would then put the Super Saiyan 3s in a better stead. It would put the Tapions in a better stead, because I say you've only got these, right? That could be pretty good. And then, of course, we have a much anticipated LREZA. No one knows. We just don't know. We just know that a new one of these and a new one of these will be something, but that's just going to be it. I doubt it's going to be a standalone Hirudegarn. I just don't see it happening. It'll be an active skill, right? But again, a new one of these is going to be much needed, right? Now, being as it is this celebration, I mean, there's only so many units that can have the easy A's or sub easy A's, and there isn't really a whole lot that are relevant, right? It might have like a weird tangent cosine to this. And maybe there's a part two which has something else entirely. But we kick off with Super Saiyan 3. That's pretty interesting, and it's movie themed as well, so that's going to be interesting. Will they have new leader skills? Possibly. It is entirely possible they have new leader skills. For sure, they're probably going to have a 200%. I imagine Goku's going to have what? Movie Hero Super Saiyan 3. He's going to have something like that, and I can imagine the next Hirudegarn Tapion's probably going to have probably storied figures and probably giant as well. Imagine storied figures and giant. That would be pretty hardcore around these guys. Now, depending on how they word it, might actually be able to work to use them alongside each other. Now, he's called Tapion Hirudegarn, which is the biggest threat, because this guy's called Tapion, and if we are going to get a transformation, you'll be able to use this guy, right? And you'll be able to use this guy. But if he is the parentheses of Hirudegarn, you're not going to be able to use this guy, who's giant form. Rather, you can have them on the same team. You're just not going to be able to. You're just not going to be able to use them side by side for links, which is going to be a bit disappointing. But yes, we can imagine as well both offensive, because it's just going to be offensive, right? And then this guy. So I mean, this guy's going to be ludicrous. We know that he's going to hit ridiculously hard. He's Super Saiyan 3. He's going to have a fancy, flashy animation, and it's just going to be a thing. And this guy's probably good. He's probably going to respectively hit hard, but he's probably also going to be more defensive based. That's kind of the deal. It'd be interesting. I mean, I bet you Hirudegarn is like dodges, and I bet you he heals, right? That could be pretty good. I mean, just checking out the teams that he could be on. We've already talked about the ones in the red. They're probably going to be the better ones there, and Giant 4. So that could be really good. You're not going to be able to use them on movie bosses. I mean, I wouldn't. Movie heroes, unless one of them turns out to be a ridiculous support, you wouldn't. Sibling bonds, no, because you'd have to run the others alongside. So it's just going to be resurrected, storied, and legendary existence with giant form. Super Saiyan 3, on the other hand, we're talking like Power Beyond Super Saiyan 3. We're talking Bond of Friendship, Earthbred, Accelerated Battle, Turtle School. Mastered Evolution could be a good one. There's a lot of overlap with Power Beyond, Super Saiyan 3, Mastered Evolution, and in some respects, Turtle School, because it's basically just the Goku category, isn't it? Accelerated Battle Earthbred gets a little bit of a buff because those can have pretty wonky leads and they still don't gem together that well, right? So it'd be good to see them there. Obviously, we have Super Saiyan. It's curious how this unit's on here, but it's because of these two key links. Is probably the only thing. When you rock these, let's have a look. Surprisingly, a good friend. Let's see, Accelerated Battle, Turtle, Power Beyond could be really good. When we're talking Super Saiyan 3, okay, so this guy, when he transforms, you get this guy coming in with limit breaking form and over in a flash. Limit breaking form is specifically only for Super Saiyan 3s, so that could be pretty good. Let's have a look. What does Kaioken Goku get? Interesting. You actually do get these two. Could be a good key link for them. Key and attack links. That could be pretty respectful. What does Blue Vegito share over in a flash? Right, of course. Bardock. Bardock has these two, which could be really good. And plenty of attack. No doubt that kind of respective ideal is kind of what you see. It looks like potentially we have some free-to-play opportunities as well. So that could be really good. That's the new LR that came back from the Turlers, right? Yes. Is he not the LR from the 8th anniversary? But there are a bunch of free-to-play options on here, which could be really good to help farm out, because he's probably going to be a standalone this. If it's a standalone Super Saiyan 3, you're not going to be able to use these to farm him, so that could be interesting. Will they be LRs? Probably. The last few years have been LRs. Anyway, that's going to be it. It's going to be most curious to see what we'd have in this particular campaign coming in with 2024. But hey, excited, all the rest. Now, we know we have the New Year Step Up banner, which is something. which, for a lot of players, more veterans will probably go for the new stuff. But again, your younger players and your less as veteran players, for anyone around 600, 650 or less, you could probably still benefit from doing the step up banner, right? And there's probably one step up banner on Christmas. I skip the Christmas one that does come out because it's a mismatch of all the best banners that have come in, and it might be a fantastic, brilliant banner, but you're chasing one of 55 units, so if you win that, you might as well win the lottery. So save up for the New Year banner, or if you're more veteran, you're going to save up for the new dudes. So yeah, I'll be saving up for the new dudes, no doubt. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This is a most curious one to start off the year, but yes, this is it. So, but anyway, if you liked it, fantastic, and of course, mega hype and all the best luck to your summons. And if you didn't like it, well, that sucks to be you, and I hope you have terrible summons. But anyway.